Hello guys, welcome to Benante TV. My name is Mr. Benante. Thank you so much for always watching our videos. Thank you for watching this particular one. Today we are going down on history lane. We are going to talk about the history of Egypt. There are various events that came together to make the downfall of Egypt possible. Events that occurred that resulted in Egypt falling down as a superpower at that time. So come with us and let us get to know the nitty-gritties that happened before Egypt finally fell down as the superpower of the entire world.
Ancient Egypt civilization reached the peak of its power, wealth, and influence in the New Kingdom period, which is 1550 to 1070 BC, during the reigns of iconic pharaohs like Tutankhamun, Thutmose III, and Ramses II, who may have been the biblical pharaohs of the Exodus story of the Bible. At its height, the Egyptian Empire controlled an expansive territory stretching from modern-day Egypt up through the northern Sinai Peninsula and the ancient land of Canaan, which encompasses modern-day Israel, the Western Bank and Gaza, Jordan, and the southern portion of Syria and Lebanon. But starting with the murder of the Ramses III in 1150 BC, the once great Egyptian Empire was slowly brought to its knees by a centuries-long drought, economic crisis, and opportunistic foreign invaders. Now let's look at the reign of Ramses III. Ramses III ruled Egypt for 31 years and is widely considered the last of the great pharaohs. His reign coincided with one of the most turbulent and challenging periods in ancient Mediterranean history, known as the invasion of the Sea Peoples. The precise identity of the Sea People is still unknown, but most scholars believe they were an ethnically diverse band of refugees from the Western Mediterranean, displaced by drought and famine, who came east looking for new lands to conquer and inhabit. Marauding fleets of Sea People may have attacked Egypt at least twice during the reign of Merimta and Ramses III. In 1177 BC, Ramses III and the Egyptian navy successfully repelled the second massive Sea People invasion, and the pharaoh memorialized the victory on the walls of its temple and tomb complex in Medinet Habu. But the celebration was short-lived, says Eric Klein, an archaeologist and historian of the Bronze Age, who wrote 1177 BC, the year civilization collapsed. Ramses III was able to fight off the Sea People, but not an assassination plot by a jealous second queen in his harem. According to CT scans of Ramses III mummy, the pharaoh was stabbed through the neck and murdered in 1155 BC. That was the beginning of the end, says Klein. After Ramses III, that's it. Egypt is never the same again. Now let's look at the dominoes effect of the Bronze Age. In the 12th century BC, the entire Mediterranean region went through a cataclysmic event known as the Bronze Age collapse. For the kingdoms that fell to the Sea People or to other contemporaneous calamities like drought and famine, the collapse was swift and absolute. The Mycenaeans of Greece and the Hittites of Anatolia, for instance, saw their cities, cultures, and even written language essentially wiped out. In part because Ramses III was able to repel the Sea People, Egypt lasted longer, says Klein. But it eventually fell prey to some problems affecting the broader region. A mega drought lasting 150 years or more, and the disintegration of a once thriving Mediterranean trade network. The international connection that had been so prominent and prevalent during the Bronze Age are all cut, says Klein. In Egypt, the 12th century after Ramses III is marked by food shortage and political infighting, and also a rapid decline in Egypt's role as a major international power. Now let's look at the additional troubles Egypt went through, that is, disease affliction, loss of resources, and tomb robbing. After the death of Ramses III, Egypt was ruled by a string of ineffectual pharaohs, also named Ramses. Ramses XI, who died around 1070 BC, was the last pharaoh of the New Kingdom. Archaeological records from this period give clue to why and how Egypt entered such a rapid decline. For example, the mummy of Ramses V appeared to have smallpox scars on his face, while historians can't be sure if he actually died from smallpox. Rock cuts indicates that Ramses V and his family were buried in newly dug tombs, and also that there was 6-month moratorium on anyone visiting the Valley of the Kings after the burials. Some scholars suggest this may have been one of the first disease-inspired isolation order on record, and a possible sign that Egypt was plagued by a smallpox outbreak at that time. In addition, during the reign of Ramses V and Ramses VI, Egypt appeared to have lost control of important copper and turquoise mines in the Sinai Peninsula. Since their names were the last of the Egyptian pharaohs inscribed on the site, Egypt had probably withdrawn completely from Sinai in Canaan by 1140 BC, says Klein. Then, under Ramses IX, who ruled at the end of the 12th century BC, Egypt was rocked by a string of tomb robberies. The economic conditions were so desperate and the respect of the pharaoh's authority so low that thieves brazenly raided the tomb of fallen pharaohs for gold and treasure. It's a shocking crime, but the reign of Ramses IX is just the beginning of a sustained period of royal tomb robberies, says Klein. At one point during the reign of Ramses XI, they had to move some of the royal mummies for safekeeping. Now, let's look at the period where foreigners took over the throne of Egypt. After the New Kingdom, Egypt was ruled by a succession of foreign powers, further evidence of its decline as an independent empire. First came the Libyans, a nomadic people from the western frontier of Egypt, whose influence and culture gradually took over the seat of power. Shoshek I, a pharaoh of Libyan descent, was the first pharaoh of the 22nd dynasty who tried to restore the glory days of Ramses III by invading the kingdoms of Israel and Judah in the 10th century BC. Then in the 8th century BC, the Nubians or the Kushites peacefully claimed the Egypt throne during a time of political turmoil. A succession of Kushites pharaoh ruled Egypt for nearly a century as the 25th dynasty before being pushed out by Assyrian invaders. Once the Kushite king took over, that was really the end of Egypt as an independent power, says Klein. Then the Assyrians came in, followed by the Persians, the Greek, the Romans, and then Islam. If you are talking about ancient Egypt being a power unto itself and being ruled by Egyptians, it was never the same again. Egypt experienced its last gasp of greatness under the Ptolemaic dynasty, 305 to 30 BC, a succession of Macedonian Greek pharaohs who ruled Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great. Cleopatra VII is the best known of the Ptolemaic pharaohs who constructed a magnificent Hellenistic capital in Alexandria. When Cleopatra and Mark Antony were defeated by the Roman Emperor Octavian Augustus in 30th BC, Egypt became a province of the Roman Republic, bringing an end to the last of the ancient Egypt dynasties.
Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell so that when we put out a new video, you can be the first person to know it, and then come and watch it. Peace out.